In the 1950s, a very famous musician, Yehudi Menuhin, very famous violinist, artist, and great mouthpiece for the arts and musical arts, set up an orchestra in Bath of the finest players, which went on for very many years, but now I've moved this forward as a resource, a musical resource, a national musical resource going forward in the 21st century. I'm Peter Manning. I'm the artistic director of the Bath Festival Orchestra. And I was asked about 2.5 years ago whether I would take this on as a revitalisation of the chamber orchestra heritage of the United Kingdom. The question about how you get people into music is about engaging with the things that classical music or music in general can achieve, and that's a social dialogue. So I think we've lost that. I think so-called classical, formalised, what I call in the cage classical music has really locked a lot of people out of that cage. And I think it's up to people, particularly now in my generation, to really think carefully about what that has meant for a whole generation or 2 generations of listeners. Well, I think the question you just asked me about, what is the purpose of an orchestra in the 21st century, really? I think it's about social purpose. I don't think it's anything other than that. And it's the social purpose of where creativity lies and where positive energies can be moved.
My name's Maren. I'm a violinist. I've graduated from the Royal College of Music a year ago, and I'm leading the Bath Festival Orchestra. I think engaging people is a very complicated subject in classical music because the amount of investment that musicians do in mastering their instrument and developing a musical personality and developing views about the music they play and all of that, it's easy to lose sight of kind of the supply and demand chain that also plays a role. So a lot of musicians tend to feel entitled to an audience because they have invested so much in what they do. I think Peter and I have a different approach than other orchestra leaders or artistic directors in the way that we want to reach new demographics of people who would not normally be exposed to classical music, and that in itself is not actually very new because we're all trying to reach new audiences. But the way Peter and I are trying to do that is by really trying to figure out what we need to change internally in the performance of music. What can we change about how performance actually takes place in practice? How are we involving audiences in the music that we're playing? And also, how are we, in a very practical way, reaching people in areas where classical music doesn't normally play a very large role? And actually, I think that because of COVID and because of a lot of things, therefore, happening online, that's a huge pool of opportunities for us, because online, it's very easy to reach areas all over the world. So we're trying to turn that limitation into an opportunity by thinking of ways that we can bring what the orchestra does to audiences all over the world that would not normally be exposed to classical music.
The orchestra is ready to show itself to the city of Bath at this point, and also to make sure that actually we are moving towards pulling together all the great talent that we have waiting on in the wings. So this is the first showing. It's a kind of prelude, a prelude concert to our official launch in May 21.
I really hope that in November, when we play for people, it can be more than just one of the first performances after the corona crisis lifts, sort of thing. I hope that it can just be the start of something really special that we're going to continue and grow with, and that people will enjoy themselves in a way that makes them want to stay involved with the orchestra. And so we can just put this really difficult year behind us and just move forward like the way we would want to.